San Diegans coming together to show support for Asian Americans amid a rise in reports of attacks and hate incidents across the country. Mayor Todd Gloria addressing those attacks and more as 100 days into his term, he updates his plans for City Hall. And local leaders discussing a plan brought forward by family and friends of a late hiker to make a treacherous part of Mission Trail safe for others. ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
And good day. So good to have you with us on this midday. I'm Jim Patton, and I am joined remotely by my co-anchor Virginia Cha and 10 News meteorologist Megan Perry. Great to see you both, and we'll be with you very shortly. Well, this morning, President Biden ordering flags on federal grounds to be flown at half-staff to honor the victims of the mass shooting in Atlanta. Still waiting on the suspect to appear in court. A hearing today was canceled, and investigators are still working to determine the motive. They say initial indications are that it was not racially motivated, though they're not ruling anything out. ABC's Elwin Lopez has more.
Mourners turning out at vigils overnight to remember the victims of Tuesday's deadly shooting rampage. Authorities say 21-year-old Robert Aaron Long is accused of murdering 8 people in 3 separate shootings at spas across Metro Atlanta.
Some guy came in and shoot the gun, so everybody heard the gunshot.
6 of the victims were Asian women. Long, a white man, told investigators he did not have a racial motive, but police said it was too early to exclude that possibility.
We need to make sure if we have any Asian spas, we need to be checking on them.
Officials noted these attacks come amid a wave of anti-Asian crimes.
We are not about to get into victim blaming, victim shaming here.
Authorities say Long had previously been a customer of those businesses.
He apparently has an issue, what he considers a sex addiction.
It was Long's family who helped police after identifying him in these surveillance pictures.
We were contacted by members of the family indicating that maybe their son.
Investigators say they eventually caught up with him south of Atlanta by tracking his cell phone. They believe he was planning to continue his killing spree in Florida.
Atlanta police are in the early stages of the investigation, and as of now, they're not ruling out hatred as a motive for these shootings. This as Asian American advocates and lawmakers are set to testify before Congress today, including actor Daniel Day Kim, on the rise in hatred in the Asian Americans and Pacific Islander community. Elwin Lopez, ABC News, Atlanta.
As Elwin just said, police are still working to determine a motive in Atlanta. But regardless, that shooting comes as we see more and more reports of hate crimes targeting the Asian American community. Here in San Diego, people came together last night to hold a vigil with signs saying, "Stop the hate." Just this week, one study said there have been at least 2,800 hate incidents targeting Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in the last year. That group says in San Diego, there were dozens of racist attacks last year.
Unfortunately, racism against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders is not new. However, we are seeing a rise in it because of the rhetoric that we have heard from decision makers and leaders, calling it the Chinese flu and attributing blame to Asian communities.
Later this evening, local community leaders will come together for a virtual discussion about the attacks against the Asian American Pacific Islander community. For more information on that, just go to risesandiego.com. And that topic, top of mind as San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria spoke in just the last 30 minutes about his first 100 days in office. ABC 10 News reporter Natay Holmes had a front row seat at that news conference. Natay, he had a message to send about those attacks in Atlanta.
Virginia, this was a chance for Mayor Todd Gloria to talk about his accomplishments, but he says that he could not let this moment pass, and he wanted to be sure to offer his support to the Asian Pacific Islander community.
This is a time of great challenge in our AAPI community. We recognize while the acts of extreme hate may not have happened here yet, we don't want them to come here, and that this city stands squarely with our Asian Pacific Islander community in saying no to hate, no to violence, and that we will stand up against it every single chance we get.
Now, Mayor Todd Gloria says he wants to offer more compassion to others compared to previous administrations. In Gloria's first 100 days, he says his accomplishments include making vaccines more accessible to San Diegans. A vaccine site was recently set up here in Balboa Park, and Gloria says the city has administered nearly 55,000 doses. Gloria has also provided support and funding to people and businesses who have been hit hard by the pandemic. The mayor says though there has been a lot that was accomplished, there is more work that still needs to be done. Gloria says housing should be available and affordable for everyone in San Diego. During his time in office, the city has launched and expanded housing programs for the homeless. He also mentioned stabilizing the city's budget, offering better pay to city workers, and fixing our crumbling roads. Now, Gloria says he's working towards a more equitable San Diego, and he also wants to see more San Diegans get back to work during these COVID times. In Balboa Park, Nate Holmes, ABC 10 News.
Nate, thank you so much. Treacherous area of Mission Trails, which earlier this year claimed the life of a young hiker, and now his family and friends working to make sure it never happens to someone else. Today, the young man's parents are presenting their plans to build a bridge in that area. ABC 10 News reporter Marie Cornell spoke to them about that plan and another proposal that could overshadow what they're trying to do.
In January, Max Lanai was killed while hiking in the Mission Trails area. Today, his parents will formally present their plan to build a bridge in that section, but they worry their plan may face some opposition. Via a virtual meeting, Ben Lanai and Lori Yoler are sharing their heartbreaking story of how they lost their son Max, hoping they can prevent another tragedy from happening by getting a bridge built at the Mission Trails Regional Park. This is the same area where they believe their son slipped and drowned. The developer they've hired has come up with 3 proposals that includes a metal bridge and 2 different types of suspension bridges.
A suspension bridge, which is environmentally friendly, made of wood, and will go over the river, and it has the benefit of being the least expensive.
Ben and Lori say there's also another push by the Rangers to build their own bridge for service trucks.
We feel like it's almost like an attempt to hijack this window of opportunity into building a bridge which may have merit, but doesn't help the hikers, the runners, the mountain bikers, and the first-time visitors.
Ben and Lori worry this push could delay a decision even more. Marie Cornell, ABC 10 News.
Following up on a story that we've been tracking the last few days, the CDC now poised to adopt new recommendations on social distancing in schools. A Biden administration official telling ABC News that as early as this week, the CDC could change its recommendation from 6 feet to 3 feet. That after a study of hundreds of schools in Massachusetts showed there wasn't a significant difference in cases between schools that observed either spacing rule. The news comes a few weeks before San Diego Unified's planned date to return to the classroom. Virginia?
Thank you, Jim. Lawmakers expected to take on the issue of immigration today when they vote on 2 bills that offer different opportunities to immigrants. So one would grant dreamers a path to citizenship. The other would protect undocumented farm workers. Both bills are expected to receive enough votes in the Democrat-controlled House, but face a tough road in the Senate, where they would need 60 votes to pass. The debate is heating up just as the Biden administration faces a growing crisis as a surge in people seeking asylum overwhelms Border Patrol facilities. Well, this morning, the Senate confirming former California Attorney General Javier Becerra to his new position as head of the U.S. Health and Human Services Department. Becerra's confirmation sealed by a 50-49 vote. He becomes the first Latino to hold that job. Now, 20 of the president's 23 cabinet positions have been filled.